Hey, everybody, welcome to Coffee with John series. What are you good at? With Jeff Gunsberg with Title Connect. Jeff, it's always good to co-host with you on these once a week.
Likewise.
Looking forward to talking to CEO of Exponential Freedom, Ethan Heisey. Ethan, it's great to connect with you. A couple things. If I go to your website, the exponentialfreedom.com, it says trusted tax mitigation built on expertise and integrity. Our team will connect you with leading experts in the field who can create plans that reflect the highest standards of professionalism and personalized service tailored to meet your unique needs for tax strategies, high-income individuals. All right, so let's talk about this. You help people pay less taxes. How?
We do, and I'm happy to be here. First, thank you so much for
Thanks for being here.
I was going to say thank you guys for everything that you do, because I actually had my team watching a couple of your videos. And they're like, "This is amazing!" So that they're kind of getting on a habit of watching this before we work.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks for the feedback.
Absolutely. So, what was your question there?
So how? I think that's the first question.
Yeah.
How, right?
How do you do it?
Very carefully. Yeah. So this is what we do.
Well, if I actually am a listener right now, I'm thinking, well, I have somebody that I go to. They're the best. They're doing a great job. How will you do anything differently? And how will you make it, so I can pay, legally less taxes?
I think it comes down to, if you're working with a CPA already, do you still pay tax? And if the answer is yes, then it's worth the conversation to see if we can reduce that tax bill down anymore. So far, there's never been a single person we haven't been able to help. And that's kind of neat. The past, I'd say 3 years, we've been trying to create an offer that's impossible to say no to. So what we tell clients
now, very Alex Hormozy, by the way.
That's where we got it from. Yeah. And he said, create an offer that's so good to say it's impossible to say no to. So now we say, hey, if we don't save you 25 to 100% of your tax bill, you pay us nothing. And that's our guarantee. And so far, been able to help everybody.
I find it interesting because, you talk about going to a CPA, and, the CPA's job is to pay your taxes, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of what you talk about on your site. You come up with, a word that I love, which is strategy. So what's the initial strategy? Somebody comes to you and they say, listen, here's what's going on. I've got this situation happening, and I went to my CPA, and here's what they're saying the taxes are. And, what's the beginning start of that to create a quote unquote strategy that, you guys would implement?
Yeah. Just if you go to like a financial advisor or some sort of person advising on finances, there's a fact finding session. You throw out your data, and we've got a system that will then take your information to our tax attorney, financial advisor, CPA, business consultant, and then we come back and say, based off of these professionals' recommendations, you do X, Y, Z, and this is how you get your tax bill down to whatever we can get it down to.
So I have a question. So a couple of things I want to confirm. It sounds to me, based on what you're saying, is somebody calls you, you send it out to a team of CPA, financial advisors, et cetera, what you just mentioned.
That are approved by you guys.
Approved by you, and then it comes back to you to give the advice. Yes?
Exactly.
Okay, so is this the future? Is this the future of advising, right? You call the portal has approved best of class. They go out and ask the collective. You're facilitating. You're quarterbacking all of it. They come to you. You say you maybe push back on behalf of the client so you get what you need to get the 25%. So you get paid. Conscious capitalism. Is this the new way of doing business? Being an ultimate facilitator of all of the parties that ultimately funnels to you and how you then communicate with the client?
I think it has to be. Because right now,
it's very concierge. It's concierge.
Yeah, because most people have to go.
I were talking earlier. I don't mean to interrupt you. Jeff and I were talking earlier, and he mentioned concierge doctor. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to my wife about it. Joanna and I, Jeff, were talking about it the other day. She was saying, I think I need a concierge doctor. I mean, this is everyday talk. you're in a way a concierge. I don't mean to say that sounding so affected, by the way. Concierge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. We've already vetted these people and we have a result. People want to not pay tax. That's really the only reason they're reaching out to a CPA. Maybe it's to save them time, but the real result they want is not to pay tax. So if I can already have the systems and the people who can do it, you come to us, we guarantee your result. Here's your fee, and we're done. It's that simple.
Well, I would say I have a question on that, and Jeff, and then I'll give you the next question.
Yeah.
I think people, and you know better than I do, but I think people, at least my mindset is, I like to pay less taxes, but I'm okay paying taxes because if I'm paying taxes, that means I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm actually making money.
Yeah, so, I'm not negating the rules.
Correct. I'm not trying to pay no taxes. Then that doesn't even. But sometimes it's like my mindset always been: the more taxes you pay, the more money you're making. So it's great, but that doesn't mean I don't want to still find ways to pay less taxes. So how do you like put that together for me?
Yeah, if you're making more money, that's a good thing. Our idea is not just to have a business or an income and not to have, it's what you can keep at the end of the day. So you want to have something that you can also keep more of. But I have a quote that I always tell people is you want to be able to, still pay your fair share. You got roads, you got to maintain, you got a military, things of that nature, school systems, but you don't want to fund society. So a lot of times we'll figure out what is the appropriate amount they would like to get their taxes down to, because we can wipe someone's tax bill down to zero. That's not difficult by following the laws that are available to do so. It's just, what are you comfortable with?
Sure. I think what in your business, and I think in every business, we fight the human condition. The human condition is, everyone waits to the last second, right, to address any potential problem or issue that might arise, right? And specifically because it's uncomfortable, you're going to pay money. People seem to make that one on the tax end of things wait longer than most. And based on kind of reading a little bit on on your site, that is the wrong platform, and I'll go back to the strategy, what I was talking about before. And it seems like that's something that's a big part of what you do, putting a strategy in place and not putting off dealing with those things, knowing that you might have a tax bill coming at the end of the year. How are you getting people to recognize or realize that not waiting until the last minute to deal with your tax issues, is something that's positive for them? How are you getting, maybe reconditioning people's minds around that?
I think it's just showing them what they missed out on, because a lot of people are coming to me right now and saying,
they must not like that.
No, they don't.
Here's what you missed. Well, listen, there's nothing better than showing somebody something in hindsight. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, damn.
Yeah.
And then next year it's like, okay, I'm coming back. I'm going to Ethan.
This is what you got to do this year if you want to prevent yourself from being in the same position you've been in for the past 20 years.
So can you give some examples? Because I think if I'm listening to this right now, I'm thinking, all right, get my taxes to zero. That sounds shady. That's what I'm thinking. If I'm listening to this podcast right now, that doesn't even make sense to me, or it sounds like something you hear, people on the news, and it sounds like something's missing. So, and I'm not saying that your business is not legit. I know it is, but based on what you're saying, I'm thinking that if I'm listening, so kind of give me something to balance out that feeling.
Yeah. Well, and I can give you guys, if you want, an example strategy.
Bring it. Let's do it. Yeah. Because I think somebody who's listening needs to hear that to kind of say, oh, I never thought of that. I can do that. I've heard of that. My buddy, when I was
and that's, I think, what the point of my question too is that, I just don't think people are thinking about that until, they're like, oh my God, it's April 1st.
Right, they're mailing their thing, and they're golfing.
It's
somebody
coming.
says,
What am I going to do?
Jeff, to your point, I hear what you're saying. Like, you're mailing in your taxes, and somebody says, "Oh, I just talked to this guy, and he told me I could do dot 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 dot, and it saved me dot dot dot." Right. Oh, I wish I knew about it. Well,
if you do it the right way,
yeah.
Those people you're talking about, it's already done. Last year was last year. You can't go back.
Last year was last year. Yeah. All right. So give some examples.
We'll give you. And first, I'll preface this with, we have over 3,000 clients at this point, and 100% of people we work with have been approved, 0 issues. So everything we do is ethical, legal, moral. We've been able to work with some of the most successful people in America that you've even seen on TV, and even some interactions with some current United States presidents. So I think just last couple months ago, we were down with President Donald Trump, our team, which was kind of neat, with a couple of the strategies. But here's one example that you can do. Have you guys ever heard of FEMA?
Sure.
So the organization that's going to go out and help natural disaster victims. That's what FEMA does. A fire comes through Hawaii and burns some houses down. Well, these people now need a place to live. So FEMA is going to come out of pocket and help support a place for them to live in. So here's a contract you can actually participate in from FEMA. We have connections to. In this example, let's say you have a $100,000 tax bill because you make $400K income. Well, what you could do is you could purchase a tiny house, just a $75,000 spend. What's it going to do? And it's going to give you a 1 to 5 deduction on your taxes. So if you spend $75K, multiply that by 5, and that's what you can deduct on your taxes. So essentially, you're actually going to get more money back in a refund.
But what does that have to do with FEMA?
It's a vehicle. It's like it's a vehicle.
No, I understand. But are you suggesting that you buy a house in a zone that's been destroyed? I'm just confused.
So that's the benefit. What happens is it's a contract you're going to sign with FEMA. Now that $75,000 spend, FEMA is going to take that house according to the contract and deploy it to a natural disaster zone. So you're actually helping people in need. So they're going to take this house from you, and then they're going to go put the people that lost their home from a fire or a flood or a hurricane, and they're going to live inside of it.
Oh, I see. So you create a relationship with FEMA where you basically give them, in your example, $75,000 to buy a home that is a safe, a home that hasn't been self-destructed.
Just whatever, destroyed by a natural disaster.
In the blank, and then FEMA uses that house to house somebody who has been, their house was in a flood. Displaced. Thank you, Jeff. I can't come up with any words.
Yeah, it's
right.
Pretty.
It happens to me all the time. We're here for each other.
Yeah. So it's a good thing you're helping out with. And FEMA loves it because they're actually paying, I think on average right now, $30,000 a month per family. To house these people. So they said, why not just get the taxpayer to purchase these homes for us, which is, going to save us cost on FEMA trailers and hotels they're currently putting the people into. But what's like a cherry on top is, so you spent $75K. That's all your cost is. That house.
But wait, hold on. Is the person actually coming out of pocket $75,000?
You spend $75,000, but remember, if your taxes are, let's say, $100K in that example, you're going to get back like $85,000 to $90,000 tax. So you have an ROI right there.
Right. So what about ongoing taxes or ongoing,
Do you own the home?
It's owned by a trust managed through the contract that you have. But here's the really cool thing. Not only did you get a refund more back than what you spent, FEMA is going to pay you, according to the contract, in this example, almost $2,000 a month of cash flow. And it's a 3 to 5 year contract. So you're going to get a cash flow coming into you from the government on top of your deduction. And so on top of that refund you're getting that was more than what you spent. So it's real. That's one strategy that's super neat.
So So what you're saying is somebody, if they had you're dealing with high income earners, if they could, you use the $75,000 example, that could be, you could buy $2 million worth of $75,000 homes, with FEMA.
Yeah, we had one guy that just bought 22 of them. So because his income's a little bit higher, so he's one of the cash flow, because every house comes with cash flow from the government.
And you don't have to pay the yearly taxes, maintenance, landscaping.
Nothing. No. That's also FEMA will actually pay a little bit of money on top of that to a management company. So they're going to do all that for you. So your only spend is that one-time cost.
That's really interesting.
That's neat.
Why doesn't
really
the average CPA do this or talk about this?
Probably lack of just knowledge of it. A CPA stands for Certified Public Accountant. So their task is you're paying a CPA like $500 to file for you. So you're saving time. You're not paying them for advice. We charge more than $500, but our ROI is much greater than what a CPA is going to do for you.
What do you guys charge, Ethan? And I'm hesitant to ask that question because these podcasts, they work in another world, because somebody could listen to this in 3 years, so you never know how it comes. But so I'm just going to stamp it for the state, for the sake of, and maybe you just give a gist, or you
June 15th, 2026.
Correct. You don't have to answer the question, because
12:25 p.m.
Well, I don't ask people ever what they charge. I don't,
right,
because I know how podcasts work, and so.
I would assume it's a percentage of savings.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I'll leave it there. It's a percent of savings. So we're completely performance based. If we can't save you, we get nothing.
Okay. Give me one more example.
Yeah, I'd like to hear one more.
Yeah, you ever heard of energy credits?
Sure.
Grants?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So you probably heard of like solar credits before, or you could buy a Tesla and you could write that off, things of that nature.
Yeah, with vehicles, with house. I've heard of it like with like gas and electric companies having separate providers, that supply the energy to your home, and being able to reduce cost from that kind of a thing.
Yeah, we've done hundreds of millions of this one, of this particular deal. So you can actually, there's a specific form you fill out for the IRS for this. It's a credit. So you fill it out, and if you get approved, what's going to happen is they're going to look back at your last 3 years of federal taxes you paid. So let's say you paid $100,000 for 3 years in a row. You paid a $300K in federally. Once you get approved, they're going to refund you all $300,000. Everything you paid in the last 3 years, if you get approved for the form. To get approved, 100% of people have been approved so far, but you have to have paid $110,000 of taxes or greater the last 3 years combined. So that's like an average of
federal. So
it's like 300K income or above on average. But here's what happens. So they're going to give you all of your taxes back. Now, it's a deal. So what you're going to do with this agreement is that you promise the government you're going to take this $300K they gave you and invest it into an approved deal. So it's a lot of our clients are doing batteries. These batteries are being rented out to other government municipalities to support the power grid, because the government knows we don't have enough power right now to support. The grid can't support the power needs with AI and data centers.
This is going to be an ongoing problem for a long time.
Huge. So that's why they're incentivizing this. So this is what happens. They're going to give you all of your money back federally the last 3 years combined for you to put into the project. And here's where you benefit. So you don't get that back. That's gone. But you can take that money you put in times 2, and you can deduct that on your tax bill for the current year you're in. So that $300K they gave you, you put into the project, and now you have close to a $600,000 deduction that you can deduct on your current year's taxes. So it's just no money out of your pocket, and you completely just eliminated, in this person's example, 100% of their tax bill.
Are you part of the investment ongoing and receive benefit, or no? Or that's the only benefit you get?
Yeah, so you don't. These batteries are being rented out to other governments. They have cash flow from them, but you don't really receive the income. It's not for the purpose of that. You just get to participate in the deduction.
Seems like a
And the one-time deduction.
One time, yeah.
Yeah.
If your income's lower this year, you might have leftovers for the next year.
Yeah.
But it is a one time, yeah.
And what if that's amazing. All right. Well, this has been really eye-opening, Ethan. This has been really eye-opening.
I'm going to reach out to you, Ethan. I have questions.
Yeah, I know. I know. We should do another show because
We should do a follow-up, but I have some questions. I have some things I would discuss just personally for myself.
I'd be interested.
Just to educate myself on, what's out there.
Yeah, I think the point is there's a lot. I mean, that's just two of dozens of strategies. You just got to meet the right people and be in the right. What do they say? You are who you surround yourself with. You just got to get around the right people that have the knowledge. Build that A team, and interview the people you're working with. Because a lot of people are gonna you're buy a car. You're gonna look at multiple cars. If you're going to have someone help you on your taxes, most people just found the first CPA they put on ChatGPT or Google, popped up one person. But ask them questions, interview them. What are you going to do for me? How are you going to do it? And if they're not happy with the result, go look for somebody else.
So I have a question before we get into a quick speed round, because I think if somebody's listening to this right now, like Jeff and I are listening to you, we're thinking, all right, we're each going to individually call you. I think someone's asking if they would ask themselves right now, if I come to you, do you do a write-up and then I decide, do you charge for the initial, how do you work if somebody calls you? Do you create them a plan? If they then decide to execute on that plan, then you get your percentage. If they don't, then how do you, I'm curious as a business.
Assume you start with
reviewing
3 years of returns or something.
Right. How does that work for you, Ethan?
Yeah, we don't do the traditional route where because we have tax attorneys on our team where you can charge them for their time, because I think you could just rack up hours and it's not really fair.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have an intake form. It's 12 questions. It's really fast. You type in your information, and then we send you a pro forma back, and it basically states this is where you are without us. This is where you are with us. Here's your tax savings. If you want to engage with it, let's do it.
Gotcha. And so you can say if you're making $1, we can save you. If you're paying $1 in taxes, I'm just using this. If you're paying $1 in taxes, we can save you 25 cents. We have a plan that can do that. If you're interested, let us know.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then they can take it back to their current CPA and say, why aren't you doing this for me? Can you do it? And if their CPA can't, then 90% of them use us.
And is it a yearly thing? They keep on coming back to you like you do your normal kind of account CPA? No,
that's why I love this business. It's reoccurring. Yeah. I mean, we have a 98.7% reoccurring business rate. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. Well, lots more questions.
Wonderful.
We'll have to have you on again, but let's do a quick speed round. A book that's made a big impact on you.
Man, I wish I read more. I'd say the Bible.
That's a very popular response, by the way. I've been asking this question for many, many years, and I would say the Bible is the number one. Yeah.
What would you're pretty young, but I was going to say, what would you tell your younger self? If you could give yourself any piece of advice, as you were coming up in business.
Find someone who's farther ahead of you than life and just be around them 24/7.
Good answer.
Yeah.
That is a good answer.
You need to find someone who's actually doing what you want to do.
Nice.
If you could have coffee with anyone living or dead, who would it be and why?
Living or dead? Oh, wow. That's a lot of people. I think it's like a buffet. You have too many options. You don't know what to pick. I would say, I don't know, George Washington would be neat.
That'd be good. And I'll pick someone for all three of us. Alex Hermosi.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to have coffee with him.
We just got to spend some money to meet him, right? He has a fee.
Right. Acquisition.com. He's great. He's great. He gives away so much free content. He's so gracious with his content. I would like to have coffee with him. Yeah. Jeff, question.
Last question. Let's think about this for a second. what do you see the future of what you're doing? Like, how do you see that all going for yourself?
Yeah.
Like, what do you envision down the road?
For clients or for ourselves?
For you.
Right now I'm in the process of building out a mastermind. So I bring it, I once a week, I teach people tax strategies, buying a bunch of businesses at the moment. So that's increasing our revenue and our worth. So that's our focus. It's just how can we get out our message to more people.
It's great.
That's
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we could use this platform to help you get your message out.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having you
Amazing.
back on the show. We'll correspond. We'll talk after. But I just want to kind of, for the listener today, I just want to leave them with this. I think, and Jeff, you mentioned this earlier, we all have kind of the traditional ways of thinking about things that are just kind of ingrained in us. And you've kind of grown a level of awareness, which I think expands the frequency on how we kind of see things and hear things. And so if anybody wants to connect with you, how do they do that? Yeah,
you guys just go straight to our website, www.theexponentialfreedom.com. Don't forget the.
That's great.
Don't forget. There you can find us. Super easy.
Right.
Ethan, and real fast before we go, if you are a listener, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this podcast you're listening to right here, because it's going to be valuable for yourselves and your future.
It's great. Ethan, that was great. I love this. All right. We'll talk again. We'll have you back on the show very soon. Expand this conversation.
Love it.
Think Big Community, thanks for taking a listen. You can reach Ethan again at the Exponential freedom.com. You can reach me at johndwaskin.com. You can reach Jeff at title-connect.com. All right. Thanks, everybody. Ethan, that was great.
Wonderful.
So much.
Thanks, Ethan.